Hi, and welcome to Science with Terry Berry the Science Fairy. Today we're going to be talking about what a scientist does. First thing a scientist does is they ask questions. They ask questions all the time about their world and their environment around them. Why? The second step is they form a hypothesis. A hypothesis is a fancy word for a question or what you think will happen. A hypothesis means I wonder what will happen if I mix baking soda with vinegar. Next, they test their hypotheses. You will set up all of your supplies and all of the tools you need to test your hypotheses and figure out exactly what will happen. Next, they come to a conclusion. What happened during your experiment? Was your hypothesis correct? Was it wrong? Did something entirely new happen? And very last, we will record our observations. We will document what happened and everything that was a result of that. That way other scientists, just like you guys at home, can test it out and come up with your own conclusions. I have now moved over to my lab station and we are going to be creating pencil trays. But before we do that, I would like to go over a few safety measures. This jacket I'm wearing is not just a really cool jacket to look like a scientist. It actually keeps me safe. It keeps my clothes protected from any spills that might happen. I'll also be wearing protective safety goggles today. These keep my eyes safe. In case there's any spills or anything might get into my eyes, I know they're protected. We'll also be wearing gloves. These will keep my hands safe and clean. They also help prevent the spread of germs. The last thing that you want to have as far as safety goes is an adult with you. Anytime you want to do an experiment at home, you need to make sure you have some type of parental guardian with you to keep everything safe. And as we're going over our supplies, make sure for those of you who have long hair, you pull it out of the way because you don't want any of your hair getting into your chemicals. You could accidentally cause a spill. All right, let's get started. Over here, we have a tin. Now you can use a muffin tin like I did or any other containers. I've got 4 empty containers that we will be pouring our colored vinegar solutions in. I have a big bottle of vinegar right here. And inside of my tin, we'll be putting baking soda. Okay, so step 1, those of you at home, please grab your baking soda. We're going to be pouring it into our tins. Step 2, we will be taking our water and pouring it into our containers. Now those of you who have food dye can skip this part. Those of you who have food gel, you will need to use some water to dilute your colors. So my first color that I'm going to be mixing in is red. I'm going to add it to my water, pour that in there, and you'll give it a good stir. It takes a while for it to dissolve, but just keep stirring and you'll see that red color get very, very prominent. And then just continuing adding your colors, as many colors as you want, however colors you want to do. Just make sure that you leave one container for just water. Next, we're going to add our vinegar. And you're going to add vinegar to each one of your containers. Except for the very last container, we will not add any vinegar. You're going to leave it with just water, as I said before. And don't worry about measurements. It doesn't matter how much we add. You can add as much vinegar or baking soda as you want, or as big as your containers allow. Now, before we get into our scientific method, I want everybody to take the time and feel your supplies. You've got some baking soda on here, and it's very powdery and light. It almost feels like flour. And if you smell it, there's not much of a smell to it. The vinegar, however, and if you pick up one of your cups and you smell it, it has a very, very potent, stinky, icky smell. I'd like to see how many of you at home like the smell or don't like the smell. Let us know. Now we will start with the scientific method. Our first step will be we will ask a question. I wonder what will happen if I mix baking soda and vinegar together. The next step will be for us to form a hypothesis. We've got all of our supplies here, so let's go ahead and get testing. So now we're going to test our hypothesis. You are going to take your eyedropper, and remember, if you don't have an eyedropper at home, you can use a turkey baster or a spoon. So we're going to squeeze up some of this liquid. I have the red vinegar that I will be pouring in, and we're going to take our tray and carefully pour it in. Wow, look at that amazing chemical reaction. There's bubbles, there's gases, it's fizzling everywhere. Okay, so Everybody grab your droppers, we're gonna do another color. What do you think is gonna happen when we pour the green in? Let's see. Another amazing chemical reaction. There's bubbles and gases everywhere. And we're gonna test out the very last color. We've got yellow. Let's see, I wonder what's gonna happen with this one. Everybody pour your yellow in. Whoa! It's like an explosion of colors. That's pretty amazing. Okay, so our very last test that we're gonna be doing is with our control. The control is very important. This one has no vinegar in it and no color in it. That way we know that nothing else is messing with our experiment. So let's go ahead and take our eyedropper, grab your water everybody, and pour it into the baking soda. I wonder what's gonna happen. Huh, what do you know? There was no chemical reaction when you added water to baking soda. That's something I learned new. What about you? Okay, so now that we've tested everything, we're able to come to a conclusion. When you mix vinegar and baking soda together, you get a chemical reaction that results in bubbling, gases, and fizzles. When you add water to baking soda, there is no chemical reaction. So now we are going to record our observations, and I have this handy dandy paper that we are going to record it on. So for the red one, we will be documenting that it was bubbles and gases. Does anybody remember what happened with the green one? Bubbles and gases. And the yellow one, did we get the same results? Yes, we did. Bubbles and gases. And for the control, now remember that one didn't have any vinegar in it, and there was no reaction. Guys, I had so much fun doing this chemical reactions with you. I hope that you guys had a lot of fun as well. We learned what happens when you mix baking soda and vinegar together. We also learned what happens when you mix water with baking soda together. I hope that when you guys are doing this at home that you're practicing mixing your colors and staying safe. And remember to always, always, always question why. Don't forget to write in the comments what your favorite part of this experiment was. Did you guys like the smell of the vinegar? Did you guys like the chemical reactions? What was your favorite color that exploded? And remember guys, it's science, not magic.